No, what's good, bro? How you doing?
What's up?
What's good, man?
Can you hear me?
Of course, man. I can hear you. I can hear the music. Where's Leandro? How's he doing?
We're over here. It's in, the sun is setting over here.
Where's my guy Leandro? Where's he at?
He's training right now. He's running around somewhere.
Very good.
When he walks in, I'll let you know. Let me see if he's in his room. Let me see
cool.
if he's in the back.
Sick.
How's everything going in Ireland? You guys ready for
UFC
249?
I can't wait for UFC 249. I'm going to be buying the pay-per-view. I'm going to be back in Dublin for then. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to watch it with my social distancing. None of my friends are going to be in my house. We'll have a big group call. And we'll be watching Triple C beat Dominick Cruz, the legend. Another legend added to the list of people that Triple C's beaten.
Hey, we're on the legend rampage. We're coming for them all. Triple C about to become C4 after he takes out Cruz, Aldo, Volkanovski. Don't worry about it.
When is Triple C going to fight Volkanovski? When's that going to happen? The first time ever there'll be a 3-division champion in the UFC.
There's never been, but there was never a 2-division champ until Conor McGregor showed, and then, you know, he showed it could be done. Actually, you know what? Conor McGregor wasn't the first one. The first one was my old roommate, Dan Henderson.
Mm-hmm. Is Henry looking at perhaps doing...
started it. Let me see what that says.
Dream it, do it. I love it.
You got to bend reality, Don.
Is Henry going to fight Volkanovski maybe next? Maybe go up to 145? Maybe on Fight Island?
You know, we don't like to think too far ahead, but I would say that, you know, on May 9th, you know, everybody's going to be home during quarantine, and since there is a symptomatic diagnosis of COVID-19, it says if you have a temperature, you might have the corona. But I'm going to let you know it ain't the Rona. That temperature you're feeling is Dominick Cruz's legacy going up in flames and Henry with a fever of 145.
Man, tell me a bit about how you guys have been training during all of this. I mean, it seems like you've been able to get to the gym, but what does your training look like for the last few weeks?
Well, on top of the COVID-19 global pandemic, closing everything down, which means that any kind of injury, any kind of stitches, any kind of things that actually it's mostly routine during camp, but it's out of the norm. Like an injury, you got to get stitches, a cut, a sprained ankle, something like this. You know, those little nagging injuries that you have in camp and all of a sudden it's a lot harder to get over as far as like, are you going to go to a hospital to get stitches? Because that's where the corona, you know, people with corona are going to get tested. You know, so there's everything's closed. So there were some obstacles we had to get through over there. But you know what? That's what we do. We're made for overcoming obstacles, especially Henry. Being in quarantine, you know, when we lived at the Olympic Training Center, we lived 4 years nonstop for quarantine, all for one fight, the Olympics. You know, and Henry made that team and won the whole thing. So being in quarantine is really nothing new. Overcoming adversity is what Henry's best at. So I think as a coach, it was dealing with the change of Aldo to Cruz is much different. It's one legend for another.
Very different fighters.
Game planning wise, it's completely different. Those two are completely different type of fighters. And, you know, I could say that from a coach's point of view, I loved it. I loved it. I loved the adversity that Henry had to overcome. I mean, Henry was ready to fight Jose Aldo at that 4th week. And then it got switched up and we had another 4 weeks to prepare for Dominick. So now if you've only trained if Henry only fought twice last year, and he got a lot better with each fight. Now he did 2 different camps in one year. Like he's so much far ahead of the game. It's like he prepared for 2 legends, and it's not like he did. We did prepare for 2 legends, which just makes Henry, every time Henry prepares for somebody, he gets 10 times better. So you're not going to see the same Triple C that you saw go out there and win the bantamweight title, becoming the greatest combat athlete of all time. You're going to see a different Triple C. You know, coronavirus, that ain't no threat. The real threat is the triple threat, Triple C. May 9th, the biggest event in global pandemic history, UFC 249. Get on ESPN, ESPN Plus, everybody in Ireland and the United Kingdom.
BT Sport here.
What is it?
BT Sport pay-per-view here in Ireland.
BT?
Yep.
BT Sport?
Yep.
All right, so get on that BT Sport and make sure you tune in because it's going to be fast. It's going to be faster than it takes Henry to wash his hands singing happy birthday.
How have you? So, what exactly changed in the camp when you decided that it was going to be Cruz instead of Aldo? What exactly did you guys have to change?
What did we have to change? The nameplate where we're hanging. Each legend that Henry has beaten. So. We had Aldo up there. We had to change the nameplate out and put Cruz. Other than that, ain't nothing changed but our change, baby. Ain't nothing changing. We're going to go out there and execute our game plan. We're going to come after him like Triple C, like the Aztec warrior he is. And he's going to go out there and he's going to do what no other person in the UFC has done. And that's finally eradicate the intolerable enemy named Dominick Cruz.
I heard Dominick Cruz wants to slap you.
What's that?
I heard Dominick Cruz wants to slap you personally.
He wants to slap me personally. That's why we got a vendetta. But it's a good thing. You know what? I got nothing. That's fine. He can say he wants to slap me, but guess what? He's going to need his coach. His coach is a first responder, so that's good. Tell your coach to bring an N95 mask and an oxygen mask because you're going to have to resurrect Dominick Cruz on May 9th. First responder first. KO law.
Have you guys in the coaching staff? What's the testing going to be like for you guys in the corner this week? Have you been tested yet?
Are we going to be tested?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be tested as soon as we arrive. I think we go into quarantine.
And then you're coming straight back on. I was talking to another fighter on the card the other day, and they were saying that you're coming straight back on the Sunday. You're getting straight out of there.
If we're coming back on Sunday?
Yeah.
No, I'm probably going to get I'll probably be heading to Brazil to get everybody else ready. I got Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. The eraser is about to erase the last bender. Someone's always got to go. And then we got the Korean zombie. He's on the zombie apocalypse. He's coming after Brian Ortega. And then, of course, Patricio Pitbull going against none other than Ireland's SBG, Conor McGregor's team, Pedro Carvalho. We're going to put a stop to his hype train. And then we're going to come after each and every one of you Irish fighters, one by one, little by little. We'll keep taking your heads off until the main man, Conor McGregor, comes to save him. And then you'll get the biggest cross-motion fight in history, Patricio Pitbull, the reigning champ versus the original champ, Conor McGregor. What do you got to say about that?
Well, I am stunned. You're a better promo than half the fighters in the UFC. Tell me about that fight, Patricio versus Pedro. Have you got an indication of when that's going to happen?
An indication of what's gonna happen?
Patricio versus Pedro Carvalho.
I've heard June, but that's, I mean, every 12 hours during this global pandemic, things are changing. But I can tell you that on May 9th, we're the cure for those COVID-19 quarantine blues. We're going to inject you guys with something you've never vaccinated before. Triple C.
Talk to me about the Patricio Pitbull and Peter Queely fight. Is that still going to happen, do you think, in October?
Listen, let me tell you something about Patricio Pitbull and Peter Queely. Have you seen those African pallbearers that hold the coffins and dance?
Of course I have.
Well, you better get Conor McGregor, Dylan Dennis, James Gallagher, and Artem Lobov to be ready to be doing that. To be doing that dancing with the coffin with Peter Queely in it, because he ain't coming back from what Patricio Pitbull's about to do to him.
We just saw the London card in May got
I hope
canceled.
they know how to do that dancing Irish jig. Is that what it's
of
called?
Course, yeah, the jig. Yeah, we do that in Ireland. James Gallagher's next fight against Cal Eleanor has been cancelled. He won't be fighting in May in London. Does that open the door for Leandro Higo to get in there in October and do a fight with James Gallagher? One of the first fights after quarantine when crowds are allowed back. Gallagher versus Leandro Higo.
You know what? I don't know if we want James Gallagher that much. Leandro wants an easy fight. That's why he wants James Gallagher. I'm thinking somebody tougher, somebody that's maybe higher ranked, somebody that can put him into a title shot. That title shot, that bantamweight, Bellator bantamweight belt is vacant, and that weight class is vacant, so it doesn't have a champion. So I'd like to get closer. Although Leandro wants Gallagher because he's the easier fight, I'm just not sure if it's going to put him in line for the bantamweight. So I'm looking for somebody tougher. I don't know. What do you think? Which fight would you like to see?
Well, I did a fantasy card actually the other day, and I put Leandro Higo against Ricky Bandejas.
Yeah, that's a good fight. Listen, Leandro, I've seen Leandro's been here for 3 of the greatest camps in history. He prepared us for TJ Dillashaw, for Marlon Moraes, and now for Jose Aldo and Dominick Cruz. Leandro Higo's been the main training partner. So I've seen this guy against UFC's best. I've seen him against pound for pound some of the best guys in the world, and man, it don't matter really who you put on the other side of Leandro Higo. He's probably gonna finish you. He's got losses in Bellator, but only to his first fight was on 3 weeks' notice for the world title against Dudu Dantas, who hadn't lost in years. And that was a split decision. It was really close. And then, he had a wild one with Aaron Pico, who's, probably the greatest prospect ever to come out of into MMA in recent years. And he went up a weight class and faced him, had no fears doing that. And then, he lost to Caldwell. He lost by submission. He got caught. But Leandro was right there. So Ricky Bandejas, Kevin Lee's brother,
Patrick Mix, maybe?
Pettis, James Gallagher, line them all up. I would put them against him all in one day. I would put them all. Patchy Mix, that's another killer out there that I think is worthy of being right up there close to the top for the next title shot. So I'm expecting him against to be fighting for a title soon. So, I mean, Bandejas, James Gallagher, I just think probably James Gallagher can't hold a candle to Leandro right now. I hate to break your Irish heart. I hope those Dublin tears don't start running down your eyes over this. But that's just the reality of it, and you heard it here first.
Do you have a rival in John Kavanagh, maybe?
Huh?
Is John Kavanagh your rival, kind of?
They're all my rival. If you've had a belt, if you're on the other side of the cage, then they're your rival. I mean, yeah, for sure. John Kavanagh's is the coach of Conor McGregor. That makes him a legend. So for sure, I mean, when you come into MMA, you look at who's winning, you look at who their coaches are, and you study. And he was definitely on the chalkboard.
Can you talk me through that day in March in Connecticut? So I met you in New York on the Monday at the media day. I was planning on coming out on the Friday on the bus to Connecticut. Can you talk me through what happened that day when you got told the fights weren't happening?
Oh man, yeah, that was wild. We were actually warming up because we do a shakeout. It was probably about, I want to say, between 12 and 1 o'clock, and we were warming up for the evening's fight. And Mark Raymonde was a journalist, actually. A journalist tweeted me. He slid in my DMs. He slid in my DMs and said, "Hey, what's your reaction to the cancellation of the fight?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "We're warming up." He was like, "Yeah, it's true, man." So I was like, "Shit." And I mean, I think Patricio doesn't really. Well, here's what happened. Leandro's fight was already canceled the day before because the guy.
Oh shit! Because the guy didn't make weight, right?
The guy didn't make weight, so we had already kind of felt something, and then Patricio even told Leandro, "Shit, I don't even know if my fight's gonna happen yet." So I think he had a sense at any moment that it could happen. So I think that made a difference. Like it wasn't as much as a surprise because only 18 hours earlier we were canceling Leandro's fight. Oh yeah.
Does it make Leandro a better?
I'm about to show you how we do it in Ireland, okay? Next time you Irish people start coming up to me and talking shit to me in Vegas. All right, this is how we roll. I was in Vegas when McGregor fought. When he fought Cowboy.
And you were getting shit from Irish fans?
Oh, are you kidding me? I posted it it's on my ITV. I had like 20 Irishmen getting on me about James Gallagher. What the fuck? Sorry. What is this? Hold on. There's like a leak somewhere. Hold on. So, and I was just showing you, yeah, we were getting jumped by all these Irish people. And they were all in my face talking about James Gallagher, Patricio Pitbull versus Conor McGregor, how Gallagher can beat Cejudo and Pedro's going to beat Patricio. It's all on my IGTV. You can check it out.
So talk to me a bit about it. Is Leandro Higo a better sparring partner because he was ready to have a fucking fight and it was going to be a war, that fight in Connecticut? And so is he a better partner for Cejudo now because of that?
For sure he was, man, because his first sparring was like Henry's first week, so he was like already in the best shape of his life. So it was really good competition. You know, a lot of times sparring partners aren't in shape. You know, they only can give you 1-2 rounds at the most. Their timing's off. You know, they're not in camp. They're eating like shit. They're drinking. You know, they're all eating McDonald's and fast food but they're good, so they're gonna help you out as sparring partners. But they're not the best. They're not the person in camp. You know, that's has to be in a diet focused, working on his weight, on his technique, on his speed, his velocity. So it's not so the fact that Leandro came ready, he was ready to freaking strangle James Gallagher and whoever was in front of him that night. And the fight got canceled, so he went straight into Monday. He was supposed to fight on Saturday. On Monday, he was in Henry's camp imitating Jose Aldo, and he did that for 4 weeks. And then we moved on to being Dominick Cruz. So now we have Leandro's going to be in our corner. So Leandro, Bellator fighter, for everybody says UFC versus Bellator and this and that, and it's bullshit, man. It doesn't matter if you're in the UFC. You could be in UFC. Patricio is proving that. You know, Patricio Pitbull, in my eyes, is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And guess what? He's not in the UFC. And I have a champ in the UFC. So Henry Cejudo, I put him and Patricio are right up there. Those two. And those are really the only two. You can't be talking about these other guys that don't have 2 belts. If you don't got 2 belts, you shouldn't be in the pound-for-pound right now. I think to go up and beat the best of the best in another weight on top of your own, that's way far ahead of what anybody else is doing. And then guess what? Nobody's ever done 3, right? Yeah. We talked about that. Nobody's ever won 3 belts in the UFC or Bellator.
First, Patricio or Henry?
That's a good question, but I can tell you it won't be too far apart. We're coming. You know what? I don't like to make predictions. I made predictions last year to Ariel Helwani saying I would get 4 belts in 1 year just to prove that I was coach of the year, and he didn't believe I could do it. And he said, if you did that, you would get it. So no longer am I giving you guys my predictions because you guys think they're ridiculous. And then when I achieve them, when I bend reality, and when I create new realities, nobody's willing to believe it. So I'm not telling you exactly what we're going to do, but those are some of the plans of when they're going to win it, I don't know, but we're coming after 3 belts. Patricio Pitbull will have a 3rd belt in Bellator, and Henry Cejudo will have a 4th world title. Get ready to call him C4.
Does Patricio Pitbull beat Alex Volkanovski if they fight?
100%.
Does he beat Khabib?
100%. Khabib's he beats Khabib too. I mean, I'm never gonna. What anybody thinks when people see Patricio fight, they'll think different. People think because he's in Bellator and they only watch the UFC fighters that this person can't win. But if you're a hardcore and you actually watch, well, you don't have to be a hardcore to watch Bellator. Everybody should be watching Bellator. No. But if you're watching Bellator and you're watching UFC, then you have a say-so of, okay, now I see both. I see his mental capacity. I see his fight IQ. I see his ability to adapt between rounds. Things like that. When you see these things, it doesn't matter if you're in UFC, Bellator, ONE FC, ACA. When you're good, man. I coach fighters all over the world. I've coached Team Nogueira. Are you kidding me? Team Nogueira had my first coaching job was Team Nogueira. You know who's on the team? Minotauro Nogueira, Anderson Silva, Junior Dos Santos was a UFC champ. We had Feijão, we had Rahoni Jason, the Ultimate Fighter Brazil, Fabio Maldonado, and 2 young pups called the Pitbull Brothers, including Leandro Ego. So, and this is about 10 years ago. So I've seen it. I've seen UFC. I've seen all promotions train together in the gym, sparring wise. And I can tell you, the best fighter in MMA is a Bellator fighter right now. It's Patricio Pitbull. After him, or tied with him, would be Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo is the people he's beaten is the adversities he's had to face is way higher than anybody else. To beat the greatest of all time in Demetrius Johnson and TJ, how good Marlon Moraes is, you know, and now Dominick Cruz, and then Jose Baldo. So,
am I right in saying that Dominick Cruz is actually a tougher matchup for Henry as a fighter than Jose Aldo?
I would say you're right in the fact that if you think both of them are gonna lose to Henry Cejudo, if the ending of your what you think is gonna happen or who's tougher and who's not, they're both losing to Henry Cejudo, so it doesn't matter really who's the tougher thing, but they pose from a coach's point of view. They just pose different obstacles for us to plan for, and that's it. I don't think one's tougher than the other. I think they're both I think they're both legends, which is why Henry wants to fight them. So, you know, Dominic's got the footwork. He makes you bite and go and chase him. Where, you know, Jose Aldo he's got his leg kicks, he's got his body,
heavy hitter, man.
He's got his the mental fortitude of a champion as well. A guy that loves to stay in the pocket and throw down with you. A guy that'll never give up. I mean, they're both champions. They're both legends. So I don't think any of them. You know, who's to say Dominick Cruz didn't get hurt? He might have had as many defenses as Jose Aldo. So I think those two are still the top of their game. You know what? They're almost the same age as Henry. So these guys are in their prime.
What does TJ Dillashaw have to do when he comes back to get another shot at Henry? Because I know that before everything happened there, he wanted to do that fight a second time at 135.
What does TJ Dillashaw have to do? He's got to put down that EPO needle. Is one. No more EPO. I don't like cheaters. I think you know, on a serious note, when you get in that cage, if the other person on the other side of the cage can't get tired, I mean, that's dangerous, man. You're a dangerous weapon when you cannot get tired. When you know by the 10th, 11th, 12th, 18th, 19th, 21st, 21st minute that you can still be out in the red because you're on EPO, and while the other guy's going near empty, that's dangerous. That is a dangerous for my fighters. And you put one of my fighters in danger, I'm never going to forget that. So I would say that. I don't care what TJ – I already forgot your question, but moving on from TJ.
Can Cejudo finish Dominick Cruz? Is that what your plan is, to have that fight done early?
We're going to finish Dominick Cruz faster than it takes Henry to wash his hands while singing happy birthday twice.
Objectively, if you weren't the coach of the Pitbull Brothers and Cejudo and all these people, where do you rank these SBG guys that you're calling out? Do you think they're world-class opposition?
I think that there's a time for love and a time for hate, a time for peace and a time for war. There's a great war upon us. Pitbull Brothers versus SBG. And we're coming to invade and conquer Ireland's SBG.
SBG.
Conor McGregor's team. one by one, little by little, until there's no one left.
And
But,
your
but,
grand
but the
plan,
Mystic Mac says he can predict the future. So I predict to see you standing over these guys coming to try to save them. Because let me tell you, Patricio Pitbull's about to take your boy Peter Queely. And Patricio's like a pit bull dog without his rabies shot. He ain't had his vaccines.
is the ultimate plan to have Patricio fight Conor McGregor? Is that what you want in the long run from this rivalry with SBG?
I would say I would like a cross-promotion fight. I think it's been done before. You know, there was a unification bout between Anderson Silva and Dan Henderson when Dan had 2 belts. Ryzen just went to Bellator. Or Bellator's Patricio Pitbull just fought in Ryzen. So did Patchy Mix. So there was a couple of cross promotions there. So and the efforts of cross promotion, guess what? I coached the greatest fighter of all time in Bellator history, in Patricio Pitbull. So if we're talking about cross promotion, I would want it to be him. And if you're talking about who would be the biggest fight for Patricio Pitbull, even though I don't think Conor McGregor's on his level, I think Patricio Pitbull is levels above Conor McGregor. But Conor McGregor has the masses that nobody would believe Patricio could beat him, although the people that know. The hardcores know. If you watch Patricio fight, if you see what he's going to do to dismantle and dishearten Pedro Carvalho and every last other one of those guys over there, when you see him do that, you're going to realize that who Patricio Pitbull is. And
let's move away for a second. Is Paulo Costa going to beat Israel Adesanya, and how is that fight going to play out?
Paulo Costa is going to walk Israel Adesanya down, and the last style bender will have his last title fence in that UFC octagon, because he will be erased by Paulo.
Will that fight happen on Fight Island?
I think so. I think it will happen on Fight Island. We're ready. We're ready to go to Fight Island.
I mean, obviously, Paulo's pretty huge right now. When will he be ready to fight Israel?
I think depending on who knows what the COVID-19 how everything's adjusting with that, but I've heard July, but I everything's changed since the last time that was said.
What did you make of
I have
Izzy's
no
fight
idea.
what did you make of Izzy's last fight with Yoel Romero? I mean, that was a weird one to watch, right? I'm sure you've got a lot of opinions on that.
Well, I thought Yoel won. That's one. But I didn't like his strategy. He didn't want to do anything. 2 counter punchers, or maybe I think Israel's more the counter puncher, but Yoel Romero wasn't willing to play his game and throw first. So these guys were just looking at each other for 25 minutes, it seems. Although I still think Yoel hurt him or hit him harder. So
I want to ask you about Logan Paul. You trained him a little bit.
Check out this view, Ireland.
It's pretty lit. It looks pretty nice, man. You're having a better time than I am. You trained Logan Paul for a little bit with Paulo Costa. How good is Logan Paul? Is he ready to fight pro MMA?
Man, Logan Paul's ready. I think Dylan Dennis would be a good fight for him. He'd probably smash Dylan Dennis, though. He might be too big for him.
Were you surprised at how good his wrestling was? Because I know the boxing was a bit kind of silly and Paulo wasn't trying his hardest. But when it came to that wrestling drill, I mean, that looked pretty impressive from Logan.
Well, that's because you're not. So I showed him a few moves right before we went out there. So, of course, you're going to be impressed. If I got my hands on Logan Paul, He'd smash everybody at SBG too. He'd smash everybody at Conor McGregor's team. I hope these people in Ireland are watching this. This is specifically I'm specifically at 3 a.m. in the morning over there in the UK. Is Ireland considered the UK still?
No.
Oh shit. Well, it's 3 a.m. over there in the UK. Okay? And we're over here doing live podcasts for you guys to wake up to this and hear that the Pitbull Brothers are coming for SBG in Ireland. Conor McGregor's team, Patricio Pitbull's team. What's up? Let's get down. Let's see what you guys are made of.
Do you dislike John Kavanagh or no?
Do I dislike John? I've only met John a couple of times, so...
I was there the last time you met him. I was there in New York when you met him. It seemed like you guys didn't really interact too much.
We didn't. Because John knows that what are we supposed to be? Changing, you want us changing dinner recipes or something? My fighter's coming to take his fighter's head off. What do you think's going to be happening there? You don't think there's no tension between the coaches and between SBG and Pitbull Brothers? Come on. Although not no tension on ours. We're the ones with 4 belts. SBG ain't had a belt in years. Come on. We got 4 belts, and we're coming for 5 and 6. So if there's a rivalry, it's on their end, not on our end. They want what we got. We got the gold. We got that $1 million on the horizon ready to be put in our bank account. And we ain't playing. This ain't no game.
If Logan Paul decides to fight MMA, will you train him?
When Logan Paul decides to fight MMA, I will be there to raise his hand on whoever is standing on the other side of that or laying down on the other side of that cage. Whether it's Dylan Dennis or anybody else from it's probably be somebody from Ireland. We do need somebody. We probably need somebody a little bit weaker. You know what? I wouldn't mind putting after Patricio Pitbull gets done with Peter Queely, maybe Logan Paul get a piece of him.
I think that's definitely a bit of a size differential. I was thinking maybe put Logan in with Richard Kiley.
Richard Kiley? Is he SBG?
He's another SBG guy.
He's an SBG guy?
He fought MVP last year.
We're going to, damn, we would, is he SBG?
Yeah, of course he's SBG. He trains with all them guys.
Smash him then. Smash him. You haven't got the narrative yet? I need to fax you what's going on over here. Come on, Corby.
Tell me this much, man. When are you guys heading out to Florida? When do you get on that flight and get to Jacksonville?
Wednesday.
So you're really in and out. You're flying in Wednesday. You're coming back out to Brazil on Sunday. You're coming in. You're beating Dominick Cruz, and you're getting out of there.
And we might stay for the 13th. We have a fighter on the 13th as well from Fight Ready. His name is Hunter Azure. So he's fighting on the May 13th card, which is only 4 days later. So maybe not right out of there, but yeah, I'll be heading over to Brazil to get Patricio ready to destroy Pedro Carvalho, Conor McGregor's teammate, and then also get the eraser ready to erase the last style bender.
So Paulo in Israel is pretty much made, right? That's the next fight at 185 for the title?
Yes. That's the plan for us to that's Dana White's plan to get rid of Israel Adesanya from the 185-pound middleweight title is to put the eraser in there.
All right. Well, look, we've definitely made a real Irish and Pitbull connection. I'm your Irish connection now. Whenever you want to talk to the people of Ireland, you call me, you text me, we go live, we talk to the people of Ireland, 3 a.m. 3 p.m., midnight. Who gives a shit? You call me and we talk to Ireland. What's your message to Ireland right now? We're about to run out of time on this stream.
All right, well, my message to Ireland has been stated as it was stated before. Hey, be ready. We're coming to invade and conquer your lands. When we arrive on your lands, we're burning the ships, and we're coming to take the castle.
I got you, bro. All right, thank you so much for your time, Eric. Have a great time this week. I wish you all the best with Triple C. I wish Paulo all the best against Israel Adesanya. I wish Patricio. Actually, I don't wish him all the best against Pedro because Pedro's my boy. But, you know, I wish you all the best with all these fights. All righty. I'll talk to you later, man.
We're coming UFC 249. Don't miss it. This Saturday, May 9th. Cure those quarantine blues with a shot of something you've never vaccinated before. Triple C. Greatest combat athlete of all time.
Eric, before you go, we got some people in the chat. They want to hear you sing. You want to sing a song for the people in the chat before we go?
What are we supposed to sing?
I don't know. They just said they want to hear your singing voice. I don't know. I thought there was a song that you were good at singing.
Oh man, you guys are gonna have to help me out here. Maybe.
All right, everyone in the chat, quickly, hit us with a song for Eric to sing right before we go. Because
it better be a good one, don't we?
All right. What's Now Vey? What's that? That's not a song.
Now Vey. That's not a song. I'm too sexy.
That's perfect for what you're wearing right now.
Wait, this is just my normal Sunday attire, Corby.
All right.
I don't know what song.
Right Said Fred. Give us a bit of Right Said Fred. I'm too sexy for my shirt.
Sing it for the next time. Let's get that taste. We want people to come back. Next time we'll have a song ready.
All right, everyone. We're gonna work on a song. We're gonna duet.
Captain No need to sing. Come on.
We're gonna duet. We're gonna sing a song next time. But right now, I'm gonna let you go, Eric, and I'm gonna talk to you later, bro. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.